December 19th, 2017, a fateful day where we said something so unbelievable, I can't even believe it was uttered from our mouths. We made a claim, a prediction, a pick that I feel may haunt us forever. Our number one most anticipated Switch game for 2018.
Right now.
Travis Strikes Back, No More Heroes.
Yeah.
Suda 51, Unreal Engine 4, Hotline Miami, and other indie cameos. Crazy, gory, insanely artistic action hitting your Nintendo Switch next year.
Man, Zach, what were we thinking when we said this? I actually know the answer to that, by the way, in case you're curious, if you don't know what we were thinking.
What were we thinking?
We were thinking that it was going to be an actual, full AAA game, because at the time we didn't know that this was a top-down, smaller game. We thought that, yes, there was going to be elements of that, but we also figured that there was going to be more to it, and there doesn't seem to be, so that is what we were thinking.
Right, and it's led us to a whole lot of confusion and a whole lot of concern for this upcoming release. We'll have to play it to get the final verdict, but we asked you all what you're thinking about No More Heroes, Travis Strikes Again. If you're feeling as concerned as we are, if you had any crazy expectations like we did back in 2017. So let's get into your thoughts. Thanks as always for your feedback and your responses. We've been asking a lot on Twitter, so if you want to follow us over there, twitter.com/theswitchforce, a great place to get involved and be featured in these videos. Hit the like button if you enjoy these comment-filled videos. They bring a lot of force to the channel. Let's start with John Joe Cosgrove, who says, if I can be honest, this is not how I thought Travis would make his return. While a No More Heroes 3 would have been better, I am still interested to take on this game, and hopefully there will be something that takes me by surprise. P.S. No More Heroes 1+2 on Switch to come?
Yeah, this isn't how any of us wanted Travis to return. Yes, ideally, No More Heroes 3 is what happens, but this is one of the things that bugs me greatly about this game. We were told from the get-go, if you want a No More Heroes 3, this one has to do well. So they're almost holding us ransom. There's a ransom for No More Heroes 3 that we have to participate in. I don't like that whatsoever.
Yeah, and a couple of people mentioned that about, kind of feel like we're put between a rock and a hard place here. I think it's interesting how many people want No More Heroes 1+2 on Switch, and in some ways I'm surprised that wasn't the move that Suda and co. decided to make. But let's move to Kate, Dark Pit Main, who says, I never was able to play No More Heroes. I hope the sales do well enough to get the games on the Switch. So that's an interesting take where it's hey, not really interested so much in Travis Strikes Back, but hopefully it does good so we can get the main games on Switch and maybe even lead to another main game.
The Switch has become a very fertile ground for games that have existed in the past, so I wouldn't be surprised to see No More Heroes 1 and 2 at some point. But it's all going to be contingent on Travis Strikes Again's performance, and that does make me worried.
Yeah, I know you can only put your best foot forward, but if you're hoping to greenlight a big game, I'm not sure that this is the way to do it. And I don't know, if I was Suda, which I'm not, but if I was...
Are you sure?
Who, by the way, just had his 51st birthday, which I think is so awesome. So congrats for that. I hope your game ends up being great. But if I was him, Travis Touchdown is cool, but I would have tried something different and smaller in scale and character and just overall concept on Switch, and then use that to maybe fuel a future Travis game, rather than hey, let us make a bite-sized, not what you wanted Travis game to hopefully get the real Travis game. I don't know, that philosophy just, I see a lot of wrinkles in it.
Sure.
If you know what I mean. But hey, KevGamer29 also sees wrinkles by saying,
this is how I feel.
That's what I was going to say. I feel like we went from it being our most anticipated game of 2018, like a bunch of crazy people, to just a shoulder shrug. And it's coming at a weird time. I think in general, January would be viewed as, oh, this is a great space for this type of a game to come to play. But we've been talking about how this January is actually kind of loaded lately with good Switch stuff, so it might actually be an unfortunate time for Travis to touch down.
You're right. We saw that with New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe. Nintendo is having a pretty strong start to the year here. Hopefully that continues with Travis Strikes Again. hopeful that it can be more fun than we think. I'm hopeful that our low expectations will lead to some fun in some way or another. But we've seen more and more trailers be released, or doing the little Twitter hype cycle where they're, showing a new like image with a cool shirt. That is one of the cool things about Travis Strikes Again, that they're doing this little indie initiative, and some shirts are making it into at least a promo material. So I like some of that. But yeah, you're right. January might not be the best time for Travis.
Yeah, I'm mad at myself that when I saw the indie integration, I thought it was just like a cute aside and not the whole conceit of the game. Troy Evers echoes our thoughts about January, saying, considering I just picked up New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe, and I'm still working on Smash Bros. World of Light. Gabe, you know how that goes. He says, I got enough on my plate already, and I wonder if that, outside of the potential low quality of the game or the potential, not fleshed out nature, I do wonder if it will also, irregardless, be bit in the butt by the bug of a surprisingly big January.
Zach, I can mention at least 4 or 5 games that I would get before this one, honestly.
Yeah.
And this is a big, quote unquote, Switch exclusive. The quote is on the big, not on the Switch exclusive. It is a Switch exclusive. But I would definitely pick up Mario beforehand. I would get Cave Blazers beforehand. I would get Tales of Vesperia beforehand. There's a lot of stuff that I would say make sure you play before Travis. And yeah, that's not a good thing.
Well, Mark Andrews has a different take and says, I have enjoyed most of Suda51's games, and this looks like another edgy and funny hack and slash that I can't wait to sink my teeth into. Don't snooze on this one, guys. Gabe, stop sleeping on Travis.
Funny enough, and you guys have no reason to know this, but I was actually just yawning as you were reading the tweet.
Lovely.
Just a funny
Lovely.
little...
Let's establish a nice baseline here. Are you a fan of Suda games
Yes.
at all? Did you like the first couple No More Heroes?
I didn't play the second one, like the first one. Am I correct in remembering that Lollipop Chainsaw was a Suda51 game?
Indeed, it was. Also a fixture of a number of gaming conventions when things were a little more wild. I really like No More Heroes because it has the boss rush focus, and I always think that's really cool. Obviously, incredibly stylized, kind of gimmicky, but the first one I felt was really well executed. I played a good chunk of No More Heroes 2. I like Shadows of the Damned from Suda. I thought that was a really cool game,
that was
if you
a cool
remember
one.
that one. Lollipop Chainsaw I did play through. I wouldn't say I loved any of them, but I appreciate just their quirkiness and how they, I don't know, bring just a totally different feel to the gaming space.
He reminds me...
yeah.
He reminds me of a extremely, extremely, extremely whacked out Quentin Tarantino.
That's not a bad comparison, but I hope that this would sort of be, not that he's not super successful, but a new rebirth for him, given the popularity of the Switch and the assistance of Nintendo, and again getting to do an exclusive and making something very cool. And I feel like it's going to potentially be one of his smallest releases.
Yeah. I mean, the funny thing is, there isn't a price point right now on the eShop, release. We're assuming it's going to be, the same as the...
I'm sure it is.
Yeah, but, I mean, on eShop, if you go right now to, Nintendo.com and look it up, it doesn't say a price. So, I find that to be, a little weird, but, whatever.
It happens on some games. Andrew Dennison says, I could not care less about this game. A collection of similar-looking minigames that focus on multiplayer more than single-player. Not the debut Travis deserved on Switch. That was the most echoed sentiment. It was just man, Travi deserved better.
Fun fact, though, just to get back to this for a second. I think it might be cheaper on eShop. Because, here's why. The physical version is $40, but it includes a season pass. So, maybe the eShop version is less?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so, whatever that is. But yeah, I mean, Travis does deserve more. The reason this game exists is because there is a fandom for No More Heroes. And that is why they went with a game that has a built-in audience in order to hopefully build up enough excitement for a potential No More Heroes 3. And yeah, this is a little bit of a disservice. I mentioned it earlier, but the trailers that have been dropping, everyone that comes out, I'm less excited. They're doing the opposite of what they're supposed to be doing.
Yeah, it's a little bit odd. I don't know. I remember us talking about No More Heroes 3 is going to be on the Switch. what if Travis came to Smash Bros. And we had like really big aspirations for the game, but it just didn't kind of come to fruition. It does look like the eShop version is going to be 30. Over on the UK eShop, prices are listed, and it's 25 pounds and 34 pounds. So it looks like it is going to be getting a $10 or so discount, which is, or not discount, but just price difference, to give you some granular details there. Let's go to Graham, who is on the hype side of things. Honestly, I can't wait to get my hands on it. Me and my friends play Smash, Mario Kart, and ARMS all the time at lunch, so this will be a fun mix-up. I also want No More Heroes 3 and hope that we can get the first 2 games and Killer 7 on Switch so others can join in on the fun. Is there a chance, Gabe, that this ends up being just like a simple co-op fun romp? Not anything too serious, not a major, AAA No More Heroes 3, but something that just is kind of like that stupid fun that is good to mix in, like he said, with Smash and Mario Kart?
I mean, it can be, right? And it's still Suda 51, so some of this stuff is going to be weird, and I appreciate things like that. And for this exact scenario that Graham is painting here, I feel like it would be kind of fun. I don't know how long your lunch is, but
I never had a long enough lunch. I feel like they need to give kids so much more time to eat.
I mean, we don't know that he's a lunch. He's a kid. Sorry, I know he's not a lunch. We don't know that he's a kid. Maybe he's talking about like work lunch.
Hey, Gabe, Graham can be a name. It doesn't have to stand for a graham cracker, all right? He's not a lunch. You don't have to get so hungry over here.
Suda has said that he would make a Killer 7 like remake and put that on Switch. Like, he said that he's open to that before. Honestly, it just kind of seems like Suda's open to anything, though. He's like, yeah, I'll make a No More Heroes 3. Yeah, I'll like remake Killer 7. Why not?
Yeah. I mean, it's I don't know. I'm gonna go to Santon, who I like. I like this thought. Might check it out if it seems like people enjoy it. Haven't played any games in the series, and it seems to be on a lesser scale than the previous ones. Not excited, but I'll keep an open mind. And where this road has led us from our most anticipated game to trying to keep an open mind, I feel like Santon sums it up perfectly, because that's where we're at, and it seems like that's where a lot of people are at. Disappointed, underwhelmed, concerned. But who doesn't want more good games, especially when they're Switch exclusives? It's always something that like I have extra oomph behind wanting it to be good when it isn't exclusive. And that opening trailer was so strong, I'm still going to give it a shot.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how the story elements like play out. You're right, that opening cinematic, going back to Quentin Tarantino, it was like very like Tarantino-esque with the car and like the music, and then Batman coming in. It was like super cool and stylized, so I was all in it, and I think that's why it was something that was so exciting for us. And then to see the road that it went down, it was a little bit of a bummer. But Zach, the one thing I will say is the fact that our expectations are so low, they can only go
good service.
Yeah, like it can only go up from here, right? Like I don't think that like we're going to be disappointed because we're already not expecting a whole lot.
I'll still be super mad at myself for saying it was most anticipated. That's a black mark on my record that you know what? So I need this game to be good, man. We need Travis Strikes Again to strike with the force of 1,000 of these mini games, and there definitely aren't that many, but it better hit so that we can at least save a little face from that fateful day in December. You know what game I really want? It's not a Suda game, but I really hope that Catherine Full Body Edition comes to Switch. That is, I would say it's in the same vein, very different gameplay wise, but just conceptually or whatnot, it has that quirkiness and it has that very Japanese feel. I love Catherine a lot. I love the gameplay. I love what they did just in terms of how you mix puzzle solving with dating sim, basically. And that, I think, would be a phenomenal fit on Switch and something that I'd be instantly excited for, especially with extra or enhanced content. So if this whole little experiment does not pan out and Travis Strikes Again does not lead to the return of the Travis, then Catherine? Maybe that can be a nice stand-in later in the year.
Yeah. So we just have a few days to go here, Zach, as far as waiting for Travis to strike us once again. I wonder how hard he's going to strike us, by the way.
Like I said, I hope it's really hard so that we don't have to eat like 5,000 crows for listing at number 1.
Yeah, it's going to be an exciting week. We'll bring you some type of coverage for it later in the week, so check that out. If you're on the fence, we can try to help you make a decision based off what we play. But yeah, right now I am anticipating it just because I'm curious more than anything.
Indeed, indeed, indeed. Thank you, everyone who gave us your take. We always appreciate it. Like I mentioned, follow us on Twitter to be included in future questionnaires for future videos and future conundrums like this one. If you enjoyed the video, leave a big thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe to stay up to date on the latest and greatest from the Switch and Travis. We've got you covered. Until then, though, for myself and Gabe, have a fantastic day. SwitchForce out.